Hi, this is Tanya Sheridan with Close to My Heart and www.𝐂𝐲𝐧𝐧𝐞. And today I wanted to come to you and share with you some of the wonderful new wood grain products that Close to My Heart has to offer. So before I get started, I did want to share with you my show specials. If you make a $50 purchase, you'll receive a free pack of our wooden shapes. And you can choose what shapes that you would like. We have some stars, brackets, arrows, hearts, lots of different shapes. If you make a $100 purchase, then not only will you get the pack of wood shapes for free, but you'll also get a pack of our wood grain paper. And then I do have additional specials in my shop. So to qualify for either of those, you're going to go to www.𝐂𝐲𝐧𝐽𝐡. That's INALLSASSINESS.com, and from there you'll find a landing page, and you can go to my shop where you'll see all my custom art and projects as well as specials, or it'll link you through to my Close to My Heart website. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you. First of all, I want to share our brand new wood grain packet. So we've had lots of different wood grain patterns over the years, and this one I think is one of the most versatile. It does come with 3 patterns on one side, and then you can flip those over and you'll see additional patterns on the other side. It's very reasonably priced at $6.95, and you receive 2 of each sheet. So essentially, if you were just using one side of each page, you'd have 6 beautiful pages of wood grain. They do have a beautiful texture, and one of the things that's really nice is because they have different colorings. You'll notice this is a light grain and this is a medium grain. You have the white washed, and you have a plank, and then you have the gray and the traditional wood. There's something that's going to work with almost any photo or combination that you have. So these are a wonderful deal. They are in our annual book, so they are available for an entire year. So I wanted to share with you some artwork that I have created with these pieces. And the first one is this layout, Falling for Fall. And so you'll notice I used the white wood grain paper with this layout. I also used one of our digital collections from Close to My Heart that's only about $9, $9.95. We also have some that are $1. But this one partners with our pumpkin spice collection. And I essentially didn't change anything with this layout except add some additional leaves backings to the way the layout was. But you'll notice I used the wood grain. I also used our harbor paper, as well as some glitter and some tones of coral. But over here, you'll notice that I have our wood letters, and I have inked those with our harbor ink. So you can see that you have lots of different possibilities for different wood things. It don't have to have just the wood coloring, okay? So the next one I did was using the wonderful wood grain, the neutral one, and I actually backed it on that same white wood grain paper that I just showed you. But this one I did something a little bit different. So I cut my own stencils. I designed and cut them. This is the little stencil that was used on this page, and I'm going to show you how to use that a little bit later. But I cut my stencils, and then I inked through the stencil with the mocha ink, which is a darker brown. So by doing this directly on the wood grain paper, the grain shows underneath the inking, and it gives it more definition. So it is a really cool technique, and it really pops that wood grain versus covering it with a solid. It really lets it go through almost like a stain is what I would consider. Now you'll notice that I also used the white wood grain paper for my titles and my letters. I backed that, and here are some of the natural colored letters as well. I've written the word love and added a heart on this page. Then on the second page, I'm going to slide this over just a little bit so you can see it better. But on the second page, I've incorporated some flip-flaps. And I know that there's going to be a little bit of a glare, and I apologize, but I wanted you to get the full effect. So here you'll see I doubled it just like I did with this page. I did my staining on the different elements. I also glued down some of those wood pieces, but then I used the wood grain piece or the wood shape piece as a tab for my flip flap. So my flip flaps are a signature item from Close to My Heart. They allow you to add lots of different photographs to your page by attaching them to the top of your page protector. But here the wood shape was sturdy enough that I allowed it to become a tab. And then you can open up the layout with all the other flip flaps, and you can see all of the different elements. So I thought that that was something that really cool and different that you could do with those wood grain shapes. You can use them for tabs. You can glue them. Here it's on a piece of paper, but I could have glued it directly on the flip flap if I wanted to, and that would have given a great effect as well. So this next layout is using the wood grain pallets or planks that are going in a pattern. And so I used that with a lighter one and came up with a beach idea. This is using one of our slimline thin cuts. So I used a card thin cut on an actual layout. And then I did some embossing and that type of thing. But I thought that the lighter gray and the plank really looked like a boardwalk or boards that you would see down at the beach. And so I thought that that would pull together very nicely. So then I have two one-page layouts to show you. And this one I used the wood shapes and elements and lots of them. And this is actually a beautiful piece that could be done in a shadow box. There is a tutorial on my blog at 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐧𝐞 on how to create this element in this heart. So it is a little bit heavier of a layout, of course, to support all of the shapes. And it would be a great piece for like the start of an album, or you could put it in a shadow box. And I actually taught it last weekend at a retreat. And I think the gals were about half and half about who was going to use it for shadow box and a layout. But it has all of these intricate pieces. So this gives you a really good sampling of all the wood shapes you have. We have the hearts and the flowers. There's arrows. There's buttons. There's also brackets. Here's another one of the hearts. Just lots and lots of different shapes. Arrow, there's another bracket, lots of different sizes, and you can pull them together to truly create a beautiful piece of art and a masterpiece. This next one that I'm showing you has lots of different pattern papers with our pumpkin spice and our mix-in collection, but it also uses the wood grain as the border. So this is the gray tone of the wood grain. It works beautifully with our harbor color as well as some of our corals, and it pulls it all together. And I love the fact that this is used as a backdrop. Now, I use the whole piece of paper. You can see by flipping it this way. But you could certainly, if you wanted to save your paper, you could cut in a little bit and not have to use the entire piece of paper. But I thought it was a really pretty piece. There is some gray in the pattern papers that I mixed in, and it's a great way to use up all your little scraps. You'll also notice that this rim is actually a silver. It's a silver foil rim. So it gives just a nice matte finish and an extra little addition to pulling in the gray. Okay, so with that, I also have done some cards to show you some different ways to use the wood grains. So I am a believer and lover of white pumpkins. I absolutely adore white pumpkins. And we have this wonderful new stamp set with thin cuts that it's called A World with Octobers. And it has these beautiful Cinderella pumpkins at different angles, which is hard to find. Most stamp sets that I've found with pumpkins are more of a face on and not like a top view or an overview. And so I really like this stamp and thin cut, but like I said, I really love white pumpkins, and so I wanted to try it on the white wood grain. I did use our Harbor ink, which is also the paper in the backgrounds to really emphasize it and bring out my white pumpkins. So you could use it under a stamped image. You'll notice that the grain of the wood gives some texture to my layered pumpkin trio there. On this card, the Nuts About You, these all are featuring also our PML cards with the Pumpkin Spice Collection. So I did want to note that. But you'll notice that I used the bracket here and I inked it in that Harbor color. So I just took one of my ink distressing tools and inked it. And then I used these fun shapes. Now these are something new to close to my heart. And they're really a lot of fun to work with. They are a sticker, so there's an adhesive back. They have been die cut for you, so they pop out fairly easy, just a little snag of the adhesive here and there. Some of them have a design kind of etched into them, and they have a wood feel. They actually feel like wood, but without the thickness of a regular wooden shape. So these are really, really cool items. They are available currently, and you'll see here on this Nuts About You card, I wanted more of a masculine card for this one. I used 3 of the little acorn wood stickers on it. So I thought that that was just kind of fun for a masculine card. On this card here, the Hello Pumpkin, I used a couple of those shapes as the leaves for underneath my pumpkins. So I thought that that was kind of fun to accentuate all of the pumpkins and just add that little wood grain flair to the bottom. Here you'll notice that this one has 3 of the hearts, and those are also from the sticker sheet. And you might be looking at this and thinking, wow, that's really kind of cool with the stripes. I'm going to show you how to do that in a little while. This is using the background was created with our new adhesive sheets, and it's a lot of fun. It takes all the goo and the mess away, and it's just absolutely fabulous. I'm going to show you that as well. This one I think is probably my favorite. So here I've used those wood shapes, the sticker ones. I've done this one flat, but the piece behind it is popped up, and then layered the gourds as well and just added a few little fun sentiments and things. On this card, you'll see I used the brackets, the wooden brackets, the natural ones. I didn't ink them, I just left them as is, but that's another way. And you'll notice that they're off center just to create a little bit more character. This one I absolutely love. So this is using one of our brand new thin cuts. It looks like this, and it is actually called Buildable Tags. And so I used this big tag that nests the little tag, and I'm gonna open it up off camera and show you so the glare of the plastic doesn't pop through. But you can do either individually, or you can nest them when you cut them. And that's what I did with this tag. So I actually nested it and cut it with the wood grain paper, and then I added the wooden hearts into each of the little sections and made a fun card, and then added some pieces of the Picture My Life. The hugs sentiment actually comes from our new Sending Hugs thin cut, and I just cut off the word sending and just used the word hugs. So I thought that would be a great one for masculine or feminine, but a nice just deep colors for fall. And then this final one I thought was cute. The Picture My Life card said, "Hey cutie pie," and I did the wooden brackets on either side. So there's lots and lots of possibilities that you can do with all of these items. What I wanted to do now then is show you how to do a couple of things with it. So this is just a piece of wood grain paper that I've cut. I am going to open up my ink pad, and here are 2 of the stencils that I cut out for the family layout that I showed you. I have the one with the stripes and then the solid one. So we're going to use the one with the stripes. I'm going to take my sponging tool and hold it down with my finger, or you could use washi tape, and I am just going to stamp or ink around, and you can keep adding ink to get it the darkness that you would like. I'm going to pull my hand down here. Now I'm also going to go off the ink just a little bit, not solid, or the stencil, to create an additional pattern. But you'll see that when I lift it, I now have some ink here that I emphasize, and then the stained pattern as well. And it creates a really fun look, because like I said, the wood grain comes through the ink and it makes it look like a true stain that you would have on wood. And of course you can do it with different, here's the solid one. Let me show you how that one would look. Of course, the colors aren't the same, but it will show up much darker, being a contrast for you. You can use a dauber. You can use whatever you choose to use. I like these tools just because they are simply very easy to work with. And you'll see here again that the green is going to come through. So that is a fun technique. The other thing that I wanted to show you was how easy it is to ink our shapes. So this is one of the shapes. This is the arrow, and I purposely did the large one so you could see. And I am just going to run my sponge directly over that wood. Now I kind of like this one because you can twist it really without tearing it, and it gives you a more even look on your shape. And of course you could have it, you know, splattered if you wanted to, or splotchy, I guess would be a better word, but I like it very solid. And that's what my arrow is going to look like. So this truly looks like a different wood grain stain instead of just the natural wood. But you can do it like I did on the Falling For You layout very easily with a different color as well. The other thing that I wanted to show you, which I thought was super fun, is these are our adhesive sheets. They come as a 12 by 12, and I've already, you can see it's tacky, I've already pulled off the film, and I just cut this to a 4-inch section. And what I did was I took all of my scraps of my wood grain paper that I had used so far, and let's add a solid one, and I just cut them into 1/4 inch by 12 and then 1/2 inch by 12. And it goes on very, very clean, very easy. Let's find a white one here. And it creates a fun element. So once I'm done adding these, I can then run this piece through my Cricut. If I wanted to run it through my Cricut, I could run it through a die cut machine or just simply cut it. And I've done this before where I've done the strips across and I've put adhesive on the back of every single one. And what I found is it just gets so gooey and yucky. And then you're getting that goo and yuck from, you know, all the adhesive you're putting on it. You're putting it into your Cricut or you're putting it into your die cutting machine. And it's just not a happy result. So this allows you to put it down and run it through. And I'm going to finish this off so I can show you the backing real quick, and then proceed with your artwork. Now, what I plan to do with this piece, because I really liked the wood grain element, there we go, is to turn it this way and slice it this way so that I have little strips of these multicolored wood grains. And then I might cut a title too or what have you. I haven't quite decided, but it's lots of fun. So then you can flip it over. This is a waxy surface, so it will go down on that Cricut mat, like I said, if you want it to, or you don't have to. And then you're gonna catch, which of course I can't catch, but you're gonna catch the edge of this and just pull it all the way off. And it will leave the adhesive on. I can catch it with my finger there. Wants to be a little stubborn today. There we go. So you can see as I pull it off that there is a sticky behind it. So then if I were attaching it to a layout or a piece, I would stick it right down. Now, if you're running it through your die cutting machine or your Cricut, you're gonna leave this backing on until you're ready to actually cut it. So here again is one of the finished cards where I've done the same thing going across. I just use our coral colors instead of the wood grain. So lots of fun that can be had with wood grain. I would love to see what you create. Feel free to create and tag me in the comments and share what wonderful things you have. So before I go, I did want to share with you that we have a stamp of the month special during this month. This is our stamp of the month. It is a beautiful stamp set. It has 3 large animals, as well as lots of fun script titles and sentiments. So this is for you, available free if you are a VIP and with a $50 purchase, or for $5 with a $50 purchase if you're not a VIP, or you can buy it outright for $18.95. But you can find this in my shop as well, and it's just very, very fun. I love coloring these. They also look really pretty on the stained wood, especially the fox, because it picks up the orange colors. Well, I thank you very much for joining me today. Again, I wanted to share with you my show special. If you make a $50 purchase, you can get a pack of those wooden shapes like this, of any of the shapes that you want, for free. If you make a $100 purchase, you can get that and a pack of the wood grain for free. I also have additional specials in my shop and lots of new artwork and lots of new kits and cards and layouts. So make sure to check it out at www.inallsassiness.com. That's INALLSASSINESS.com. Have a great day. Thanks to Scrapbook Expo for having me, and make your day sassy.